All right. Well, welcome to DCA, DeFi, Crypto, and Airdrops. I am Veteran Crypto, aka Mike, and this is the Blockchain Report, aka Jeff. Today, we are
What's
going
up?
to do a deep dive into Plume and also Bob. I know nothing about Bob, and I'm going to leave that to Jeff, but I'm going to go ahead and we've talked about Plume before, and Jeff is the one that turned me on to it early on, and glad he did. And we're going to give you some updates, and we'll kind of, like I said, just dive into some of the details. How you been doing, Jeff?
Well, I'm holding on to my underwear, man. Holding on to my underwear. The markets are crashing. We're going to
Oh, dude,
zero.
it is terrible.
Oh man. Yeah. I just using this time to study and learn. I mean, and if you can DCA, DCA. But right now, just we're all in panic mode, so I'm just looking to take advantage of some airdrop stuff, projects that are building, like Bob. I came across this a little while ago and had a lot of people in my community really interested in more information on Bob. And so when I went over it this weekend, it looked really good, especially with the DeFi stuff that we're talking about. And we've been wanting to explore using Bitcoin in DeFi. So now that we have an actual network that's leveraging that, it's perfect. So I can't wait to share it with everyone. And really, I don't even think they have a token or anything yet. So we're still pretty early in it. But
Yeah, no, it's those are the projects that you want to get in on early. Is the ones that that the main net isn't live, or that the token isn't out yet, because I mean, with any crypto or stocks, anything like that, is the key is, I mean, even meme coins is early adoption. If you're one of
mhm.
the first ones to get in, for the most part, you get in before the pump, then the people that get in later usually are the exit liquidity. And and the
Mhm.
timeline can vary, depending on the project and stuff like that. Meme coins at one point, you had a couple of weeks, to where you could get in and get out and make some profit. And and then with stocks, of course, it's more of a long-term play, but you don't have the volatility to where you get the short-term gains that you do, and memes and some of these other cryptos. But everything is a balance of risk and reward, in the timeline. So with that, let me actually use my phone. I've got a couple of bullet points that I wanted to use here to keep myself organized. But real quick, for those that aren't familiar, let's just do a quick rundown on exactly what Plume is. So Plume is a layer one. Currently it's on Ethereum, and it's focuses on a very bullish for me use case. Obviously, I'm very big into DeFi and RWAs, decentralized finance and real world asset tokenization, and that's where Plume is focused. They're focused on RWAs almost exclusively, and which real estate, infrastructure, digital hardware, stocks, bonds, treasuries, intellectual property. I mean, the list goes on. It basically making the illiquid liquid, so that you can trade it 24/7, 365. So that's really what it is that they're focused on. So I'm just going to go ahead and read this straight from them. Plume seeks to create a comprehensive RWA platform that boosts liquidity, fosters innovation, and offers yield opportunities, emphasizing scalability, compliance, and seamless DeFi integration. Compliance is key. Jeff, feel free to jump in on this. When it comes to compliance, anything that's dealing with the finance world, if you want mass adoption and institutions to get involved, it's going to have to be regulatory. There's going to be regulatory compliance. So
Mhm.
that is something that I feel needs to be highlighted. Anything you want to add to that, Jeff?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of the double-edged sword that we face is we want so much all of this to be decentralized as much as possible and total ownership to the people, but at some point you're going to have centralized, entities in crypto doing things, and having regulation isn't totally bad. You do want some safety and security, but done the right way. Not any of this uh, enforcement. Ruling by enforcement and shit that the SEC's been doing. So there needs to be a level-headed approach to all of this, and it is important, especially when you're dealing with not just finances but your property, um, any real-world asset that can be stolen or taken from you. You want to make sure that that is done in a right way that's verified on chain, and if the government does come take it from you, you can prove that you have ownership. Now, I don't know to what extent that would help in some regions, but because I think some developing nations, once they get involved in having stuff on the blockchain and land deeds verified, you're going to have some governments that won't abide by that and just come and take your shit, and you won't be able to do anything about it. But I think for the most part, it's a good thing. But I don't know. We'll see. It's very interesting. But that's one reason why I liked Cardano early on, is because Hoskinson was going to these developing countries and really trying to build that infrastructure.
Well, now
For
he's sitting at the table in DC. He's right up in there with with the being a US based blockchain. He's right
Mhm.
up in there with Ripple and I don't know why, but they just keep ignoring DAG and the government is freaking using it.
Mm.
I don't know what the deal is with that.
Well, and Hegseth, what a Constellation Dag said something about Hegseth mentioning that type of technology that DAG is using, that they really need to utilize that. But I don't have they mentioned DAG specifically, or just the type of infrastructure they're using?
Well, I mean, they're actually actively using it. Space Force, and I think it's the Air Force, is currently using it and has been for quite some time. So yeah, I'm not sure why. Whenever it's all the U.S. based blockchains are mentioned, that it's not one of them. Hey, a quick shout out, Johnny
Mhm.
December and Crypto Maniac. I appreciate you guys jumping in here. If you could, we had to restart the stream. If you could, like and share the stream. We had some technical difficulties for whatever reason. X is having those issues. They had a huge DDoS hack or something like that today.
Mhm. Yeah, it doesn't look like any of the spaces are up too. So I think they're getting hammered.
Yeah, I won't get into that. It's I'll get on a rabbit trail. So real quick, I'll jump into some of the key features of RWA tokenization. It supports assets including treasuries. It can do DePIN, which we're going to jump into with PinLink. GPUs. Um, and decentralized infrastructure DePIN. Luxury
Mhm.
goods, private credit, decentralized physical infrastructure, DePIN, like I mentioned, assets expanding the DeFi scope with over 100 partners. I believe it's over 180 partners. Plume's ecosystem is rapidly growing. It's almost daily. If you follow him on X,
Mhm.
it's almost daily. There's at least one, if not two or three, new partnerships announced. It's just insane. And it's sitting pretty low down there on the on Coin Market Cap and Coin Gecko. As far as ranking, as far as market cap. So definitely a good opportunity.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you want to pull it up and share it, Jeff, the chart for it. Ever since it launched, it has been
I was
ranging,
just about to pull it up. Yeah.
dude. It has been ranging sideways nicely. It's what motivated me to find that Plume USDC AMM. on Uniswap. So I'm earning like 150% APR on, basically an AMM,
Can you?
with doing
I
a,
don't think I have permission.
oh,
Yeah, for some
let me
reason
get
I
that.
don't. It doesn't like me.
No, it's me. Let me give you permissions. There we go. You should be good now.
Ooh.
Sorry, when we
Oh,
restarted the
there we
stream,
go.
it must have. I
Oh, yeah.
neglected to give you permissions.
There we
Oh,
go. Oh, let me hide all this other nonsense. A bunch of noise on here.
all right. I'll tell you, I'm gonna miss this little studio. I'm gonna have to build me a little studio at the property.
Oh, right. When do
You
you
know,
when do you head back?
I head back on Wednesday. So
Okay.
so yeah, it's like I just,
Nice couple
but
weeks.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna do a nice little office slash studio here soon. It just need crypto to hit just a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not asking for much, just little 3-4x. I'll be good.
Just yeah.
Little something,
I
some,
mean, you
give that.
even yeah, just a little
Go ahead.
a little something for
Give,
daddy, man.
yeah, daddy needs a new pair of shoes. Come on. All right. So
So yeah, you got your
I'll,
range, man. Even like
yeah,
a
let's take a look
4 cent
at that. Yeah,
range.
look at that.
You're
I mean, that is just beautiful. And with all of this dumping that's been going on, I
mhm,
mean, just this bloodbath that's been going on. I mean, look at that. I mean, Drew over at
yeah.
Blockchain Basement, talks about health on a shelf. I mean,
Mhm.
look at that is freaking a thing of beauty. So yeah, like I said, not financial advice, but I am DCAing as often as possible with my DeFi earnings. And my brother just bought like a couple $1,000s worth of Plume last night because I was telling him about it and everything that's going on with it. So
Yeah, dag down to oof. Yeah. I mean, everything's down, but you really like you said, you got to look for the plays that are holding up well. And you see something like this that has
dude,
been weathering this, you know.
yeah, no, that's how like everything else looks. It's
I
just that
mean,
that
it hasn't
giant
even come
freaking
close to its lows, you know? It's just
no.
wow.
It's
Mhm.
insane, dude. Like I said, I'm super bullish on Plume. I don't have enough. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and how's your AMM doing?
Oh, no, like I said, I mean, I'm earning between 100 and 300% APR. It's currently, last time I looked, was sitting at about 150%. And I have it
And
set from my range from 0 to infinity. So, like I said, it's an
mhm.
AMM. It's not like I picked a range.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't even have the yeah, the only time you pick the range is the concentrated liquidity. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So, that's the beauty of an AMM. It's, a lot most of the time you get a much lower, APR or APY, but you have the luxury of it's always in range no matter what the market does. And that's why I'm always telling people that,
Mhm.
if you're new to DeFi, lending, you're not going to earn, 40, 50, 60, 80%, APRs, but you're gonna earn consistent yields, and that's the key to
Mhm.
DeFi. Is it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's slow and steady because if you're just constantly earning, and you can plant that one seed and you're earning 10, 20, 30%, and you build up that yield for a week or two, and then you take that yield and you go plant that somewhere else, and maybe you take a little more risk, and you just
Mhm.
keep doing that, and then one yield bearing asset becomes two, becomes four, becomes eight, and next thing you know, you wake up and you're making 100, 200, $300 a day when you only started with maybe a couple $1,000. So
Mhm.
that's the key. That's the beauty of DeFi. And it's not always going to be like this. The more adoption there is, the more
Mm-mm.
mainstream this gets, and the more people that are providing liquidity, your couple $1,000, you're going to get a smaller and smaller piece of the fees. So, now's the time to make your nut. Be stacking the bags in this
Mhm.
bloodbath. While everyone else is, freaking, crying themselves to sleep because, crypto's dumping. I'm just sitting back, just loving life because all these AMMs and lending I'm doing is just earning me free crypto at a discounted rate. And when it goes back up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20x, that $100, $200 that I'm making a day, it, becomes, $2,000 a day, $1,000, $2,000 a day if it 10x's. So,
Mhm.
you got to think outside the box, and, and DeFi is the way to do it. And then of course, once I cash out, it's like I'm going to start putting it into stable coins, lock in that earning into a stable coin and, earn 10%, 15%, 20%, while everyone's going into that euphoric stage and wanting to borrow and, that sort of thing. I mean, hell, I might even make 30% on my stables. And when the
Mhm.
market crashes, who cares? I'm in stables. They're not going down. I might earn less yield, but who cares? I got my profits locked in, and then I'm still earning. And once I feel like we're getting towards the bottom, I'll start, deploying some of that USDC and, some new projects or old projects or whatever. It's, you need to plan ahead. It will keep you from getting emotional and getting that anxiety of, that FOMO if you have a solid plan in place. So sorry, got on a
Yeah.
little bit of a soapbox there.
No, and I wanted to ask you about the APY that you're getting. Because you were showing last week when there wasn't as much volatility, that it was more in like the under 10% range. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
depends on volatility, right? But you'll get these periods where you'll have several 100%, and you'll make some decent returns, but it's kind of a balance. So don't, you know, trip out and think that that's what you'll get the whole time, but there is a balance depending on the market volatility and stuff.
It's mostly volume, and that's why,
Oh,
I
the
have that,
volume. Okay.
that picture that I made with, Crypto Labs research, kind of, bullet points of, how to pick a good liquidity pool is,
Mhm.
you want TVL because that's going to allow you to get in and out, without slippage or minimal slippage. Because, when you're trying
Yeah,
to
I'll just pull up
rebalance
Uniswap
and
right
things like
here.
that.
Yep.
What's that?
I'll just pull up the Uniswap. It's on Uniswap, right? Is
Yeah,
where
yeah,
the
it's on Uniswap.
pool's at.
Yeah, yeah. So, you want 250K or more in TVL. And the reason being is, like I said, if you're trying to rebalance, if you're trying to, exit or enter that pool, if it if the TVL is too low, then you're going to have to raise your slippage to get in and out. So basically, you have to give up, some of your value to get in and out of the pool. You also have to keep in mind the volume because the volume is what creates the fees. The volume is the people that are swapping between the assets you're providing liquidity for. So if there isn't the volume, there isn't the fees and there isn't the earning. So, and the volume should be equal to or greater than 250, or, equal to the TVL, just to ensure that, you're getting a good balance of, of the fees, a good portion of the fees.
Why am I not seeing it?
Did you click on pools?
Yeah, yeah, I'm in pools right here, but I tried searching just Plume and
Let
I don't
me
see
check.
anything.
Let me look.
All
I just,
networks. You did on base, right?
no, 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 no.
Ethereum.
It's on Uniswap.
No, which network?
No,
Is it on mainnet?
Plume is only on Ethereum,
Okay, yeah.
unfortunately.
But
But
why? Oh, why didn't it say? Okay.
you found it,
Oh, no, that's not the right one.
so there should be two of them. One of them has really
Yeah,
low
this
TVL.
this is the V4. Huh.
Yeah, it should be a V3. Yeah, here it is.
Mm.
Yeah, right now it's only 4.29%.
Yeah, see, that's weird. It only shows the V4.
Oh,
You
maybe it
see, I'm
migrated me. No, no, I'm still in the V3.
oh, that's weird.
So yeah, see here I'm on it now. Let me go to pools.
Pools.
Yeah, there it is. Plume USDC, TVL of 1.8 million and 3.8 million in volume.
Shit. Oh, do I need to be connected? Like, I mean, I don't think I need to. This is just really weird.
So yeah. Anyway, here let me get back on track here because
Yeah.
I still want to hear about Bob. I'm excited to hear about it because I might have to DCA into something
Oh
else.
yeah, yeah. We'll
So partnerships overview. Plume has built
Mhm.
a strong network of partnerships to advance RWA tokenization, collaborating with DePIN platforms, financial institutions, and custody providers, as well as blockchain security protocols. So I want to highlight two very specific partnerships. Just because of the use case and the institutions that they're connected with. So the first one is Ondo. They announced that in December of last year, and basically to do U.S. Treasuries. That's the focus, and to expand the RWAfi use cases of natively issuing Ondo's United States dollar yield, which is their stable coin called USDY, on Plume's blockchain. When the main net launches, which is supposed to
Mhm.
be later this month. This week, they announced today that they are launching the test net. And as the test net goes well, then later this month they are scheduled to go live. Um,
Or
that's
their DevNet, I think it is, because they had the test net. Now it's the DevNet, and there's
Oh, okay.
actually,
Thank you, thank you.
yeah, yeah, and I'll touch on that later. But keep going.
All right. So the objective of the collaboration in USDY, a tokenized note secured by short-term U.S. Treasuries with over 450 million in total value locked already across 8 blockchains and 4.65 APY as far as the yield, into Plume's ecosystem, offering global non-U.S. individual and institutional investors access to yield-bearing Treasury-backed assets. And that's the key. Is Plume is going to be a player in tokenizing real world assets that traditionally maybe didn't earn yield, and allow people to earn yield off of them. So that's the great thing about it. So Katie Wheeler, who's the VP of partnerships at Ondo Finance, stated Plume is creating a network effect of opportunities for RWA issuance, and having a composable, yield-bearing asset to power this economy is a boon for both the asset utility and the ecosystem as a whole. Partnership. All right. So basically, currently, I wanted to see I had a bullet point here where it was telling me what they currently had. Like they haven't even launched the mainnet yet. Okay, here it is. So they haven't even launched the main net yet. Sorry about that. $64.4 million total deposits already. So it already has $64.4
Shit.
million of TVL, and the mainnet hasn't even launched. I mean,
Yep.
if that doesn't make you bullish on it, I don't know what will.
And
So
they incentivized people who got the airdrop to
mhm.
claim they would get like 25% more if you claim on mainnet. So you could have claimed a month ago when the token launched, but if you on a centralized exchange, but if you wanted to wait to claim on mainnet, you get a 25%
Dude,
boost.
I'm so pissed I missed out on that.
And man, I did it with the wrong fucking wallet. The wallet that
Oh
I had the
yeah, you
most,
told me
I
about
did.
that.
Yeah, oh, man, I was so sad. But it's okay.
Yeah,
We live and learn.
is Deadwood in here?
Yeah, Deadwood's in here.
All right,
I had
awesome,
a I had
awesome.
a finger
No,
he's got to pull.
he's just as bullish as I am on Plume, so I want to make sure he gets all this alpha.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah, thanks, Johnny.
So,
We'll see, man.
Later, Johnny.
Johnny December.
All right. So let's jump into PinLink real quick. And
Pin.
so on January 3rd of this year, Plume partnered with PinLink, the first RWA tokenized decentralized physical infrastructure network platform targeting the $30 trillion RWA tokenization market. 30 trillion. That's 10. Oh, there you are. That's 10
Mm-hmm.
times the total market cap of crypto. I mean, it's insane. I mean, anybody that's not bullish right now on crypto and specifically certain projects, you have not done your research and
Mm-hmm.
you're being emotional because of it. You know, if you're jumping into projects and you haven't done your own research into the fundamentals, I highly suggest you do it. If you are holding a token, you should be able to speak just as intelligently on it as, you know, any YouTube, you know, influencer talking about these projects. And it's not hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, use Grok, use Chat
Yes.
GPT. I mean, you can aggregate information and data very quickly using AI and get
Mm-hmm.
bullet points to where you don't have to like read for hours. You can just get bullet points. Just say, hey, what partnerships do they have? Do they have fully docs team? Yada yada yada, and it will knock out a very in depth deep dive for you very quickly.
Great
You can
tip.
even
Yeah, I've found the use of Grok. I didn't really utilize it until more recently, so
Mhm.
I can say it's definitely helped parse through a lot of information. Whatever the topic is, it's a great source.
Dude, if you're not learning how to use AI,
Mm-hmm.
you're at a huge disadvantage. Um, I mean, we're using it. We're using it right now to help us build our DeFi aggregator. So,
Mhm,
those of you that don't know, we're building out a super sexy, basically platform website where you'll be able to connect your to start out phase one. You'll be able to connect your wallet. It will be able to read only, but it will be able to see the NFTs that you have in your wallet. So the positions you have on different DeFi platforms, and use the data points to give you very detailed analytics on how your portfolio is performing. So that spreadsheet
mhm.
that I'm always using, that I'm always having to plug everything in manually, it will do all that automatically, and it will tell you the profitability of each of your positions, and then your overall performance as well, and like the earnings that you get for 7 days, 30 days, the year, all that kind of stuff. And then also we're going to have a page where it has basically a research page to where you'll be able to use like DeFi Llama and all of its tools. We'll have links to all of the things that I like to use to do all my research, as far as like Dex screener to look at liquidity pool pairs and the chart to figure out where the support and resistance lines are, to pick your ranges, things like that. So, and it's all going to be free. We're not going to charge anything for those two functionalities. And then phase two, just because we want to make sure it's secure before people actually start moving their crypto and entering pools and stuff, we'll actually have the functionality to where you can enter pools and pick pools and things like that. But we want to take our time on that and get a third party audit, security audit,
Mhm.
because it's just the responsible thing to do. So more to come on that. Um,
So chili.
hey, what up, Chili Rainbow?
Got me
All
hungry.
right. So back to DPIN. This collaboration integrates PinLink's tokenized computing infrastructure, the GPUs, CPUs, TPUs, and IoT, or Internet of Thing devices, and Wi-Fi hotspots into Plume's ecosystem, unlocking yield opportunities and enhancing liquidity for DPIN asset holders. That's interesting, because that
Mhm,
potentially means that you could earn yield off of certain aspects and functionalities on your phone and apps. It could be with IoT.
mhm.
It could be things like Hive Mapper and Helium. Those types of things could potentially be brought
Yeah.
on board with with Plume. So, a dedicated DPIN vault will launch on Plume's mainnet, allowing users to access fractionalized DePIN asset yields from PinLink's platform, expanding Plume's DePIN offerings. So basically, they have already allowed Vault. And actually, real quick, could you look up, because I had the data point earlier. Could you look up and see what DePIN or not DePIN? Yeah, DePIN's what they currently have locked.
Would that be on DeFi Llama, or can you
If
find it
you
on
could
Grok?
probably just use Grok.
So DePIN TVL.
So
I hope that's
while
vague
you're
enough.
doing that, while you're
Yeah,
doing
total value
that,
locked.
you got
Um,
deep pin links. Oh yeah, it's yeah. Look up pin links. What they have currently locked, because they had quite a substantial amount of money locked. But the Pinlink's chief architect, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. It's like Lucas Orlowski. He's he went to MIT, under 35 years old, and he highlighted the potential to accelerate mainstream RWA trading in DePIN and reduce costs for AI developers needing scalable compute power. The CEO, Chris Yin, noted that DePIN's infrastructure introduces a new category of tokenized RWAs, reinforcing Plume's goal to be one of the most comprehensive RWA platforms. This partnership unifies the RWA market, democratizes access to DePIN revenue. So, again, a way to earn. Supports AI innovation by leveraging crowdsourced compute solutions, which is what DePIN is all about. It's finding a latent compute power on people's laptops and computers, and allows you to earn. Because you're allowing the network to use your GPUs and CPU as
mhm.
for compute power. Um, and I'll just kind of rattle through these other notable partnerships. You got Mercado Bitcoin. It's basically it enables global distribution and staking of tokenized RWAs. Superstate, it's a multi-chain partner. Predicate is enhances compliance with smart contract level policy enforcement. So, basically blocking sanctioned entities without mandatory KYC. Kobo is a custody provider for 500 plus institutions globally. Kobo bolsters Plume security and institutional offerings. So that would be a gateway to a lot more liquidity and TVL. Weinfeld Partners LLC, yield bearing assets. Uh, Purpose for profit, open layer, sign protocol, and Royco protocol. So again, there's over 180 current partners, and so I'm not going to go through and rattle them all off. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about a $30 trillion market, and there seems to be a select few that are rising to the top of and I mean, those of you that are old enough, you might remember the dot coms, and just kind of there was just dot coms everywhere. If you were a dot com, you had money thrown at you by VCs and stuff like that. But when the dust settled, it's going to be a lot like crypto. When the dust settles, there's going to be a chosen few. In certain use cases and sectors, and you really need to pay attention and do your research to keep up on who those are going to be, because as narratives change, and kind of as the tides churn, and kind of the best of the best rise to the top, that are the most modular, like Plume, that allows for better and more efficient scalability, which is key when it comes to being able to upgrade, to stay in compliance, and to allow greater throughput and things like that, functionality. If it's not modular, you almost have to take down the whole network to do upgrades. Whereas if it's modular, you can plug and play certain, aspects of it. So, all of these things, you need to become a knowledgeable investor so that you can identify these gems, and invest early. So,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, follow the money, follow the big money. Ondo, they're with BlackRock, they're with all the key players. They just had, I think it was in DC, they just had the RWA, uh, conference, and Plume was one of the ones that helped sponsor it. So if that doesn't tell you that they're a player, I don't know what will.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't really find anything on the DePIN TVL because Grok doesn't really have anything
Well, it's pin
uh,
link. Sorry,
precise. Or I meant
it's
like the whole. Oh, you wanted pin link itself.
yeah, pin links. What
Okay.
they have, what they have locked. Oh shit! I just realized this thing reclines, man. Man, I need to be a chilling. But yeah, no, let's go ahead and jump into Bob. I'm interested,
So
dude. You've given me so many gems. I want to hear about Bob now.
yeah, I don't know if there's really any. Uh,
No, it's not a big deal, man. It's
yeah,
substantial. It was substantial.
substantial. All
So
right,
yeah, let's jump into Bob.
Bob. So yeah,
Bob,
let
Bob,
me.
Bob, 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 Baran.
Bob.
Those of you that are old enough yeah, exactly.
Boo.
I like that. I like that you know that song. It doesn't make me feel so old.
No. and I'm just under 40 too, so I'm just on that
Oh,
side
dude,
to know like the old
I thought you
stuff,
were in your
but
20s, man.
no, I'll be 38 this year.
Oh, damn. Yeah,
Yeah,
I turned 51 this year.
I know we both look young, man.
I got the silver going.
little silver, a little experience, right? A little
Yeah. The little salt and pepper.
salt and peps. So
Let's
we go into
see.
Bob, the
Yes.
hybrid layer 2 built with the
All
Bit
right.
VM.
Let me get comfortable so I can listen to this alpha.
The Bit virtual machine, home of the Bitcoin DeFi, which we are all excited about having some more use case for Bitcoin other than just sitting there collecting dust. Because I know how much you like
Yes.
to utilize that money that's just sitting there, not really doing
Oh,
anything.
dude, it's like freaking. It's like nails on a chalkboard. If I have an
Hmm.
asset sitting in my wallet and it's not earning, it's like nails on a chalkboard. It's why I was so excited about that liquidity pool for Plume.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, what's up, Black Ice? Welcome.
Yeah, Black Ice. I'm actually my brother. He has a law
Another
firm
reason
and title company
why.
down in Texas. So I'm sitting in
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sitting in his studio.
he's taking over his brother's setup.
Man, I'll tell you, man. I wish I had this set up. I'm gonna have to, like I was saying before, I need to build me a little office slash studio at the property so I can have this nice little chill setup.
It's important, I've had my workspace in like the living room or my bedroom, and it's kind of hard to separate, the two sometimes. But if you can have a separate workspace that you can separate from your, place you sleep is really nice.
Oh yeah. It's like yeah, my cabin. When I built it, wasn't into crypto and so and I wasn't doing YouTube streams and stuff like that. It
Yeah.
was it was more function than form.
Now you caught the bug.
Oh man, it's terrible. It's terrible.
So yeah, this is why I really love layer 3. It shows or highlights projects that are building, networks that are launching in the blockchain space, and they present you with a nice little quest. Each one has its own task that you have to complete, and they give you information about the project and steps on what to do to complete the task. So it's very informative. But I kind of went through this over the weekend, kind of exploring and learning about the Bob ecosystem and what it actually is. So
Well,
Bob is a yeah.
so I don't forget,
Mhm.
Jeff. Like remind me, that we're doing that call. Hopefully this week, where we might be joining forces with a major channel, and
Mhm.
we might kind of fall under their umbrella potentially. And
Yeah.
when that happens, I want to make sure that we start putting links to a lot of this stuff that we show and talk about.
Mhm.
If we end up breaking either, kind of breaking the channel off over to, the new channel,
Mhm.
I want to make sure we start doing that because, currently we're nested under my, roundtable talk, for a, Sunday evening, podcast. But I definitely, either way, I want to break out this channel into a new channel, either under them or,
Mhm.
under another one for us. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, and the links, I definitely agree. They are helpful, and it is good to share that with the community, and especially if we want to do this a little more professional,
Yeah, yeah.
while, while still having fun. We want to be able to provide everyone with the resources, so you don't have to go search for them yourself and end up clicking a bad link. But yeah, so it's Bob, or Build on Bitcoin, is a hybrid layer 2 that combines Bitcoin security with Ethereum virtual machine smart contracts. So it's putting Bitcoin at the center of DeFi. You unlock new use cases, liquidity, and empowers builders, making it the ideal home for Bitcoin DeFi. So rolling out in 3 phases, and we can sometimes this. So the network fees will help reward Bitcoin stakers. And this is one thing I was really interested in last year, is when the last Bitcoin is mined, what's going to be the incentive for people to mine Bitcoin other than keeping the network afloat? You're going to spend a lot on electricity and power, maybe, but what would be the incentive? And I think this is a great incentive to keep the network going, and rewarding people who stake Bitcoin. Because I wasn't sure, like, if people were going to abandon mining Bitcoin, or if what was going to happen closer to the end of the last Bitcoin being mined. But I know that none of us will
That
be alive at that point.
well, I wasn't it supposed to be. Oh yeah, it was 20, 21, 30 or something like that. But
Yeah.
I know that is a concern. That has been voiced as a concern because it's really the what secures the network is
Mhm.
people mining it, and if there is no incentive to mine it, then basically the network becomes unsecure. So yeah, no, it's definitely something that they need to come up with, another way to incentivize people to secure the network.
Yeah, and there are other projects doing Bitcoin staking, like Babylon, similar to, I think, is Eigenlayer with their liquid restaking on Ethereum.
Yeah,
But
and there's Morpho that they're
Mhm.
basically the platform that Coinbase is using to do Bitcoin lending, to where you can lend your Bitcoin out to earn
Yeah,
yield.
yeah, the BTC
Yeah,
is
dude,
their
it's
product.
when I buy Bitcoin, it's going to be BTC.
Yeah, yeah, and so they're creating the flywheel, a liquidity flywheel for Bitcoin on Bob. And that's, man, you notice that a lot of these protocols are starting to implement that flywheel.
Dude, it's
Uh,
so powerful. I mean,
yeah.
it's kind of another way to compound.
Hmm.
Because if you can, anybody that doesn't know, if you're kind of new to DeFi, the flywheel is basically to where you create a cycle to, like, almost like a snake eating its own tail.
Hmm.
So say that you want to lend to earn yield. Like, say you lend 10,000 Bitcoin to earn like a 5% yield. I'm just throwing out numbers. You're then able, like on platforms like Aave, you're able to take out loans against that, leverage, basically leverage against it. And you don't want to take out too much because you don't want to get liquidated. But say you take out $2,000, 20% on that 10,000, you can then, you're gonna have to pay, say 8%. So basically you're getting a loan for 3% roughly. I mean, because one's $10,000, one's $3,000. But stay with me here. You take that 3,000 and then you go and stick that into, you swap it for whatever asset and stick it into a liquidity pool or an AMM where you're earning like 40%, 50%. You can then take the yield from lending the Bitcoin, from lending that asset that 3,000 that you just deposited in the liquidity pool, and you can use that to pay off the loan. So basically you churn $10,000 into an extra $3,000 plus profit, and you use that to pay that off. Once you pay that off, then you just got, a $3,000 liquidity pool that's earning for you for free, basically.
Mhm.
And you rinse and repeat. So it's that cycle. You lend, you borrow, liquidity pool, use that to pay, to pay down the loan, and just keep doing that. And then, like I said, once it's paid off, then you have two pools. You have the lending pool and the liquidity pool that's earning yield because you paid off the loan, and you can use those to start new liquidity pools. And again, you can take out a $2,000 or $3,000 loan on the 10,000 and start another liquidity pool, and then use, the liquidity that you're earning from all of them to pay that down even quicker. And you just keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing that. And you just build and build and build and build. So I'm sorry, Bob.
Yeah. No,
I get excited about DeFi. Sorry.
man, and people got to understand, how to use these strategies because they are powerful. And, even if you don't fully understand it right now, just kind of keep it, write a note like, hey, flywheel, uh, DeFi, just write that down and then go type it in Grok. Like, what is flywheel DeFi? And just learn, some of this stuff we're still, trying to fully understand because there are layers to it. and
It's always evolving. I mean, we're
Mhm,
all early adopters here. It's an important thing to keep in mind. We're all
mhm,
early adopters here, and this is a fledgling technology, and and that's why you need to zoom out and understand what we're a part of here. And if you can, I mean, what is it? I forget the figures, but isn't it like it's like 3% of people in the world that are invested in crypto, and then of that, it's maybe like 1 or 2% of those people that are in DeFi. I mean, it's a
yeah,
very, very small amount
yeah,
of people that are that are in this, really in this.
yeah. It's really wild when you get down into it because it is a niche. Crypto itself is a big whole thing. NFTs and meme coins, and you got people that just strictly trade and don't know about all these projects that are going on, and they just know the token. So it's
Oh, nice.
yeah, getting down into it is, and talking to normies is what I say. My friends and stuff
Oh,
that I'm trying to explain it to them, and
dude,
some of them
always,
are
I
into
always tell,
crypto,
well, I
but
always tell people, I'm like, do you want to hear about my Lord and Savior DeFi? I always feel like I'm trying to convert them to a religion whenever I talk to them about DeFi. But
it
hey,
almost is.
Black Ice, freaking good on you, brother. It's like, no, I won't lend you $10,000. But but I always love when like when I'm in the shows like Blockchain Basement, Discover Crypto, and stuff like that, and and they're people are chatting with me in the chat, and talking about how they're getting into DeFi and how excited they are and how much money they're making. It really does make me feel good, that I'm helping people get make money. And so yeah, it looks like Black Ice got into an Arrow USDC liquidity pool last week, and so it sounds like an AMM because he's making about 36 to 40% returns. That's
Mhm.
strong, brother. And yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm super bullish on Arrow, and I put my money where my mouth is. I mean, I got, probably about $10,000 locked for 4 years, currently. So, I'm definitely, when
Yeah.
I'm saying that I have, am very bullish in Arrow, I'm very bullish in Arrow. So it's like,
And that's what you want, man. If you're going to be talking about this stuff, you want to have your money in it, and not just shilling a project just to fucking shill. You know, if we're talking about stuff here, we're actively either invested in it or actively participating in that ecosystem or project. You know, we'll let you know if we think that something's shady or
Or if
whatever
it's
the
just
case may
a
be.
risky play, I
Yeah,
mean,
risky
we'll
play.
let you
We're
know.
fully
It's like, hey,
transparent.
exactly. I mean, like Casper. I freaking love Casper. I have a significant bag of Casper, and I've been holding it for years and earning 16% APR for years now.
Hmm.
And I'll just tell you, I have almost 800,000 Casper. It's about 10 grand worth of Casper, and it's a long shot. I mean, it's sitting at like 300 and something, for market cap, but it's a great technology, great team, and they're doing some really cool things. And but it's a high risk play. Whenever I tell people about it, I make sure that I let them know that. It's not like investing in Ondo or investing in Arrow. If it hits, it's going to hit hard. I'm going to make a shit ton of money, and it's a strong possibility it could do nothing.
And that's the roll of the dice in crypto, man. Like you said, we're
Exactly, and
still
that's why you
so
want to
early.
diversify. You want to have,
Mhm.
your low risk plays like Bitcoin and, super low risk USDC and USDT. It's a, you know, or, blue chips. You want to have that as the majority of your portfolio. And then, depending on your risk profile, you have 25 to 50% that you diversify through medium and, high risk plays, to where, if you hit one of those, Casper, or, one of these, long runs, it makes up for all the other ones that didn't hit. So,
Mhm.
DCA
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
praise says 69K coming. Let's go. Is Bitcoin
Yeah,
dumping?
and I saw, so in the chat on Rumble, it shows the um both the chat from Rumble and YouTube, but DCA and Prey said we fucked guys, but it didn't show up on the YouTube. So I couldn't respond like, yeah, we're fucked. DCA, I
I
told him, hold on to your underwear, man. Hold on to your
Right,
underwear.
right. Yeah, yeah. Wave them undies. Appreciate you coming, DCA and pray. I know I keep saying it, but I really did appreciate the back and forth last night with you, because I really do like having reasoned, logical conversations with people with differing views. But we won't get into the politics on this one. I want to stay with the
Mhm.
DeFi, but I just want to say thanks for keep showing up, man.
Yeah. Yeah, we love to have a wide range of viewers and people
Well,
interacting and
Well, you always have to challenge. You have to
yep,
challenge your points
different
of view.
perspectives and
In
mm,
crypto, you can't just hang around with people that love the projects that you love. You need to
no.
talk to people that are critical, of them.
Yep.
Like XRP, Cardano, whatever. You need.
Celestia.
Oh yeah, no, it's and if you're not having respectful but heated arguments about the projects that you're in, you're not going to be you're not going to be critical of them. You're not going to find the flaws and potentially come to the realization that, hey, you know what, I've made some good money, maybe I should take some a good amount of profit on this, keep a moon bag, and maybe find another place to put this liquidity, to where I can maybe see some better upside, or as the technology evolves, find another project. Oh, Chili finally answered me.
Oh
I was
yeah.
asking I was asking him about that. What was the name of that project? Let me scroll up. Uh,
Taraxa? Taraxa?
Traxa. So Taraxa, he says, is a layer one. It's on DAG and
Mhm.
EVM compatible. I barely started doing my research a couple days ago. Marty Party talked about it for a second a couple of weeks ago. That was the only I threw some money at it. All right, I'm gonna have to look at Traxa.
Hmm. Yeah, keep that on the list. We'll do some. Oh, Deborah was cooking.
Yeah, Black Ice. Yeah, yeah.
Cooking up
He's
some
showing.
trades.
He's showing our channel. All right, cool.
Hell
All
yeah.
right, yeah. Keep rolling, man. I want to. I want to hear more about Bob.
Oh yeah, no. Chili Rainbow 69K.
Yeah, delicious. Dude, but that's the beauty with DeFi is who cares if you're in an if you're lending or an AMM,
Mhm.
you're hodling your bags and you're earning. You're earning free crypto 24/7, 365. While everyone else is just doing nothing but seeing downside, you're mitigating your losses.
Mhm.
You're earning crypto that whenever the market turns around in 2, 3, 4, 5x's, all those earnings 2, 3, 4, 5x. So
Yep.
those of you that are here listening, you're head and shoulders above everyone else out there. I mean, I know you watch me in the chat, and I'm trying to preach the good word of DeFi, but it's I'm trying to testify, but yeah, spread the word. It's make sure that you're not getting too greedy with your APRs, your APYs. Definitely start out with lending and AMMs. Wet your whistle on that, and then dip your toe in with small amounts on riskier plays. But again,
Yeah. Yeah, and I've been in Twitter Spaces a lot recently, just trying to um, talk about DeFi or get the word out, spread the word of DeFi.
yeah,
Um, just
the gospel of
yeah,
DeFi.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, if the banks can utilize that, you want to be the bank, man. You want to be that I'm making fucking how a crazy percentage is off of just lending out your money. They can take advantage of it. Why can't you?
Well, dude, I mean, even 50%, 30%.
Dude, yeah.
It might not seem like a lot, but if you got $10,000 or in liquidity pools, you're making an average of 50%, you're making $5,000 a year extra money.
Mhm.
Divide that by 12, you're looking at what, like roughly a little about $800 a month of free money. Am I doing
Yep.
that right? No, 500, a couple hundred extra bucks a month. I mean, what could you do with a couple extra $100 a month?
I mean,
Make
at
a
least a
car
little over
payment.
400. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
make a car payment. You
Yep.
just got a free car instead. If we're keeping your money in DeFi instead of a bank account, you got a free car. you
And
know,
that's only if the asset stays at $1. I mean, it could go down, but it most likely, if you look at crypto, it's over the years, 5, 10 years, it's up. So,
yeah.
and yeah, it's crazy the magic money that gets printed from DeFi.
Hey, the government prints money. Why can't we? You know what I mean?
Oh man, we actually have technology and sound research that backs it up, as opposed to just like here's this
But that,
magic money, the paper
yeah,
money.
exactly. No, no. DeFi is much more solid than the printing of cash. I mean, at least with DeFi, everything's backed. It's if I'm lending value out, then they're taking a loan out and they're having to pay it back and put collateral and everything's so pretty much backed one to one. And what you want to look out for actually is if a platform is offering too high of returns, that's a red
Mm,
flag. It means that it's not sustainable. That's why Aave. If you look at Aave, they don't have ridiculous APRs. But they have sustainable APRs. So it's a
mhm,
safe place to DeFi your money. You start getting on some of these obscure platforms that are trying to draw liquidity, TVL to their platform. They're going to offer ridiculous APRs to get those degens to come a running so that they can get some TVL. And then as they get, TVL, they'll start, bringing their APRs down as well. So
mhm.
everything is risk, more reward, but higher risk means a chance of losing everything.
Yeah, and I'll kind of show you. So let me. This was during the 2021. Oh, maybe I don't have it. So,
That would have been great.
Olympus DAO.
Oh
Um,
no.
okay, I don't have the shit.
What are you
Is
looking
it
for, brother?
this? So it was a decentralized, or a DAO, so decentralized autonomous organization. This project called Olympus DAO. It was in 2021 when, after we hit the first high, and then in March or April, and then Bitcoin just kind of went down for a few months, and towards the second half of 2021 we got the blow off top, the 69K, and then we hit the bear market. Well, there was a project called Olympus DAO that there were a bunch of projects similar to it, but um, they were offering like thousands of percent APR. And, I bought, like, I forget what the token was at. I think it was at like $1,000 or $700 a token. And, I bought some and put it in, and the yield on it was really ridiculous, and I was earning a lot. And as it went down, I think it ended up going down to like 200 something dollars from like 1,000, and over the course of a few months. And a couple times a month I just bought lower, and or averaged down, and then deposited. And I was like, it was kind of stupid looking back at it, because I didn't really understand, like, the whole high APY, like, isn't really the greatest.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah. No,
I
I
ended
made that
up caught
mistake.
it
I,
so
I chased
perfect.
I chased APY at the beginning with some smaller amounts.
Mhm.
A good example was a VVV. It's
Oh,
that
yeah.
yeah, Venice. I threw
Mhm.
like $1,600 in it, and I ended up with like $600. Because I was chasing that super high. I take that back. I got out with $600, and I made probably about what I lost. So I kind of broke even, but
Mm.
very easily. If I would have not invested when I did, and I did it later on, I would have lost a ton of money.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and when the market started to pump for that second half run, I think I ended up averaging, it was like a $5,000 investment, and I made like 20K off of it. And so
Nice.
I got out. I was like, after a month or so, I was like, oh shit, this I'm gonna take profits. And but I ended up rolling most of that into Cardano over the next year. So
What,
and Cardano
do you
NFT, so it's poof
do you
gone.
still have some like a good amount of Cardano?
Uh NFT.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, so you didn't buy
Yeah.
Cardano itself, you bought a bunch of
I
NFTs?
Man, it was bad. It was bad. Yeah. So we all make mistakes, but hey, at least I took profits and rolled it into, well, initially rolled it into some Cardano, but then, oh shit, we're taking a even more dump right now. Yeah, 77K.
Oh, yeah? Let me take a look at what my, actually here, let me use my laptop.
Oh
Take
yeah.
I'm gonna take a take I'm not worried about my AMMs, but I do have my I haven't rebalanced it. I've been holding off on rebalancing my, my bread and butter, my ETH USDC, liquidity pair, because
Mhm.
just the market is just keeps dumping. I don't wanna keep rebalancing, locking in losses, and just, rinse and repeat, because yeah, it's freaking terrible. So let me
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, my range is up here. So I'm
Oh, yeah,
I got
yeah.
two I got two ranges, but
And that's the thing is, don't feel like that, if you go out of range and the markets are doing, this, dump, don't be afraid to wait, for at least 24 hours, 48 hours. I mean, mine's been out for like a week or two now, but my
Mhm.
AMMs are still, and my lending is still earning. So, it's like, yeah, I'm not making as much as I was, but I'm still making,
Mhm.
I'm making like $60 a day instead of like 100 or 200. So be it.
Yeah.
I'm still making free money. I'm not locking in those losses. When Ethereum eventually pumps, it will go back into range. And when it goes out the top, when I'm all in on USDC, when it goes out of the top end of the range, then I rebalance then. When I got the max value, I rebalance it, I can even do a snuggle rebalance and yeah, and just rinse and repeat and ride it all the way up to where I'm, getting all of I'm getting the majority of the price appreciation plus the earning.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and I've thought about rebalancing just one of these, but at this point I'm just going to wait until payday and just take, another small position or range down here. Once Yeah, cuz I mean even if it does come down a little further and I would need to rebalance a new position, it would I don't think that it would be I don't know. I think we're just kind of oversold a lot.
Here
I mean,
we
I
come,
could be
1500 ETH.
wrong. 76. Yeah.
All right, let me see. All right, VFAT. I got sidetracked. Hold on.
70K is
All
definitely, but
right.
I don't know if we come down to 1,000 on Ethereum. Maybe a
That's
wick.
I should I hope not. All right. So, yeah, we're definitely dumping. Let's see. So, yeah, we're at 1785. Yeah, see, the bottom end of my range that I'm waiting for it to go back up to is about 2400. So, yeah, I've been out of range for a while. But
Oh
if
yeah.
if you enter the USDC Ethereum pool right now, you're earning 3% per day. Per day. So each week you're earning 21%. So you're earning 1083% per year.
Sheesh.
Oh shit. Right now, if actually earning 2666% on ETH wrapped ETH USDC. Holy shit. It almost makes me want to rebalance, but I'm afraid it's
Yeah.
going to dump more and go out of range again. So, then I
Yeah.
end up locking in those losses, for an hour or two of freaking fees.
Yeah. And man, that daily, I mean,
Because I got
oof.
1.7 ETH is what I'm sitting at.
Yeah, we're not looking great either. Money
So
flow's still
let me do some let me use the calculator real quick.
coming out hard.
You said coming out hard.
That money flow.
Let's see. Yeah, see if I get if I just hold on to what I got and go back into range, and that's like almost exactly $1,000. So if I exit right now, enter into, re-enter into a liquidity pool, basically I'm losing $1,000. So I would need to earn $1,000 in fees
Mhm.
just to break even. And if we dump lower, basically I locked in $1,000 of losses and didn't earn anything back. So
Yeah. Yeah, and how long would it
yeah,
take you to earn that, $1,000 back?
earning 3% if it stays, at the current, APR, which is now 2,700%. Um, let's see. So 3,000 times 0.03. So that would be $90 a day. So it would take me about 11 days roughly to earn and I'd have to stay in range for 11 days at this current APR to earn back what I lost. And I don't think that, either, down or up. We're not going to stay in this range that long. Because basically the range is a 10% range. So it's $1,700, $1,700, bottom end, and almost a $1,900 top end. So basically $100 above and $100 below. With as volatile as this market has been, I'm not staying in range for 11 days.
Yeah.
So these are the things that you need to think about. Whenever you go out of range, is sometimes it's better just to hold what you got. When you get in rough seas and you're sailing, sometimes it's better just to hold the course and just batten down the hatches and just ride it out. Like I said, that's why you got to diversify. That's why you want to have a good amount of your portfolio in AMMs and lending, where you don't have to worry about ranges, and you have a small amount of your portfolio in those higher volatility, concentrated liquidity pools and things like that, to where you're earning some awesome APRs. But when these markets get volatile like this, then you can just be like, all right, you know what, I'm good. I'm going to leave that where it's at. I'm not going to mess with it. Wait for it to come back into range. I'll earn on my AMMs and my my lending. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor.
Yeah, look at, man, this is the weekly. So we got Rob in the chat. What's up, Rob? He's a hidden bull div incoming.
Oh,
on the
your
weekly.
brother, Rob?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, what up, Rob? I need to get a hold of him. See what his progress is on the back end integrations.
Yeah, I was talking to him about some of the liquidity pool or the LP NFTs. He's trying to get the website to read.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look at. I mean, if this is any indication, you got a top right there. That's pretty strong.
Deadwood. If I'm reading you right, if you use VFAT, you don't need to have USDC. So if you learn how to use VFAT, you can if you're all in on ETH, then you can actually go on VFAT, deposit. Say you have $1,000, you can deposit your $1,000 of ETH, and it will automatically, unlike Aerodrome, it will automatically sell however much you need to sell to enter that pool. So it will sell off like half of your ETH into USDC for you. It does the calculation automatically. It's the beauty of one of the beauties of VFAT. And so you can enter the pool without having to do all that craziness.
Yeah. We were talking about that the other day. Just that roadblock, of needing to have half of one token
that barrier
and half
to
of the
entry,
other, or 3/4 of one of the tokens, and it's like I don't want to deal with this anymore. So
dude, I'm like I said, I'm like an old, I'm a little bit slow. I've been blown up a couple times, so I'm over here trying to count with my fingers and my toes when I'm trying to figure out, okay, I got to sell this many so that I can have this much of this token and this much of this token, so I can enter this liquidity pool, carry the 2 divided by pi, multiply by orange. It's like I don't, VFAT makes it so much easier. I wish that Aerodrome would follow suit, and it's something that I want to have on our app whenever we end up launching that aspect of it. I definitely want to have it have that functionality like VFAT where it does all that for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and here's a little golden pocket for you. So 72 to 73. That's your little golden pocket.
Help us, Jeeves.
Please.
Your 6 pound, 3 ounce baby Jesus wrapped in your swaddling clothes. Help me, Tom Cruise. Be like on Talladega Nights when he's running around, thinks he's on fire. Help me, Tom Cruise.
You Scientology.
And you and your magic Scientology. I'll be
Yeah.
honest, guys. I'm not worried about the crypto markets at all. I if I didn't have DeFi, I might be, but I'm earning
Yeah.
all the time right now. This very second, I'm earning like 60, $70 a day because I of the amount that I have in AMMs and lending. And
Yeah.
I only have about 10 grand still, 10, 12 grand in DeFi. I don't have a ton of money in it. I mean, it's a good amount, but if you're earning an extra, $20, $30 a day even, it's free money. It's like walking down the street every day and, oh, look, I found a $20 bill. Next day, oh,
Mhm.
look, I found a $20 bill. It's like, how awesome is that?
Yeah, and at least to start, stick with the AMMs. That
Yes.
way you can
Yeah.
just set it and forget it, and you then explore smaller positions of, ranges, the concentrated liquidity pools. Man, where are we at? Yeah. All right, we'll jump back over to Bob.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
I mean,
markets
we're
are going to
done
do
with
what the markets are
DeFi,
going to do,
man.
man. Like I said, when you're in DeFi, the markets will do what they're going to do. Don't get emotional. Don't get wrapped up in it. Don't get caught in that FUD. Don't get, even when the market's pumped, don't get caught in that euphoria. Stick to your
Mhm.
plan. Peel those profits. You know, just slow and steady. Make sure that you're taking that USDC, USDT for when the markets take a churn. If they're going up, you're locking in that profit. If they're going down, if you have a good portion like lending of USDC and you're earning 5, 10, 20%, then whenever these markets dump like this, then you can, peel some of that out and you can be, buying stuff at a discount because you locked in those profits when the market was up higher. You're getting an even better deal. So,
Yeah. Yeah, now that we're down this low, man, it's how much lower we'll go? I don't think a whole lot, because really, how low are the institutions going to let this thing go?
I feel like we're doing the limbo, the how low can you go? It's like-
Yeah.
so no, it's honestly, I don't think that they care because I mean they're stacking at a discount. They're the
Yeah.
ones manipulating the market. And then they're just buying, 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 and you just got to watch what they're buying. I mean
Mhm.
that's the life hack is buy what they're buying, DeFi it and lending in AMMs, and sit back and wait.
All right. Yeah. So, Bob, they got their Bit VM, or Bit Virtual Machine innovation. So they tested a prototype bridge, and this Alexei, their co-founder, has the Bit VM 2 research paper. I don't
Hmm.
know if you guys are interested in reading white papers, but it's quite a snooze fest. Quite a
Oh,
fall asleep with the book in your hand. but
oh man.
but
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm on X. I just saw a post, crypto charged. Pretty good channel.
Ooh.
They're big on Casper, and they're actually doing another interview with the CTO, Michael Stewart.
Hmm.
He's always on there and has some good alpha on Casper.
We should get someone on in the Casper space, just to like talk to. It doesn't have to be someone from the team, but maybe someone that's been covering Casper for a while. And
I was wanting to get Kevin Cage. Super cool guy. I don't know him, but just watching his channel forever. He was huge on Casper, and then it went through that really deep FUD where we went below like 1 cent, like deep below 1 cent. It was like point
Mhm.
zero 0.07 or something like that. Um, and it was because the CEO left, and they took Prove AI, which was
Yeah.
IBM's project that they were building on Casper for their enterprise level offering, AI offering. And the old CEO was just solely focused on enterprise use. He wouldn't allow anything other than enterprise use. And so when that left, everybody just got fudded out, or most people did, and then the price stabilized and recovered. But the CTO took over and has done a great job, basically, rebuilding confidence. He's been, he's super engaged on social media. He's doing a bunch of interviews. They're still building out. They're actually about to launch. Wise is about to
Mm.
launch a DeFi platform protocol on Casper, which I'm super bullish on because I'll be able to earn more than 16% on my Casper. So yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of really cool stuff going on with Casper. And so, yeah, you're right. But anyway, yeah, Kevin Cage, he got fudded out and really hasn't talked too much about Casper since.
Oh man. Yeah, we'll have to kind of do some behind the scenes work. Yeah, because I'd like to at least learn more about Casper and see what they're building and just kind of share them, especially if it's something that you feel strongly about.
Oh,
And
I've
yeah,
done some deep dives on the channel if you want to watch them.
yeah, yeah. Well, and what about their DeFi stuff, like the staking pools and stuff that you're involved in?
Yeah, no, I've done videos on that too.
Okay.
It was quite a while ago before me and you started doing this. But it's yeah, basically it's just on Casper Live. On Uphold, you can earn 13%
Mhm.
currently. Just all you got to do is hold it on Uphold and stake it. Uh, and then on Casper Live, you can deposit it there and make 16%. But yeah, it like I said, if you want to listen to a deep dive, I won't bore you here. We're running out of time, but I've done a couple deep dives on it.
Okay. All right. Back on Bob. So
Back on
their
Bob.
BitVM2 bridge will enable secure, decentralized, and trust minimized Bitcoin deposits and withdrawals, unlike most other Bitcoin bridges, which rely on trusted multi signature wallets. And for the first time in history, we have a blueprint and prototype for achieving true Bitcoin DeFi with BitVM2. So they have the hybrid Bitcoin yield products, which is the first multi chain Bitcoin yield layer. You can deposit assets in a managed vault on Bob to seamlessly earn yield from other chains.
Nice.
So hybrid Bitcoin.pendle.
You're talking my language now.
Yeah, yep. So hybrid Bitcoin.pendle earns you yield on Ethereum with future vaults planned for Solana, BNB, Move, Bearchain, and more. So as Bob rolls out Bitcoin finality and BitVM bridges in the coming months, which is phase 2, this hybrid Bitcoin.pendle will gain added security. And let's
Nice.
see. Yeah.
Your
So that's
brother
kind of,
your brother says there's a hidden bull div on the MFI, RSI, and maybe the MACD incoming on the weekly chart for Bitcoin.
yeah. Yeah. I don't have the indicator pulled up. I need to update his indicator, but he has like the combination of like the CVD and all kinds of other metrics that um
He,
he's
he
trying
said,
to what?
oh, I was just saying he's saying 75,500 to 74K for the bounce is what he's saying.
And that's just
All right, Rob,
here.
we're holding you to it.
Yep. 70. Yeah. Let's see. I mean, that's just above the golden pocket, so
Yeah,
he's
hopefully it's not the prison pocket.
prison pocket.
Hopefully I'm not holding the prison
Oh
pocket,
man. Nope.
having to take it.
Bend over and take a
Yeah,
deep
bend
breath.
over and take it. It's like the golden pocket just became the prison pocket.
Prison pocket. Let's get that soap on a rope, man.
Right? Hey, don't drop the soap.
No. uh
Oh, Ondo's at 75 cents, Deadwood says.
ooh.
Yeah,
Man,
I
it's
might have to.
shopping time, dude.
I might have to cash out some of my USDC that I have lending and buy at some of these low. I just, I almost feel like we can go lower.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
nothing to base that on, but I just a gut feeling.
now, Bob, the network is live. So this is like an actual mainnet that you can start bridging your Ethereum into. And
Oh, okay.
so this, I just did the video this weekend, so I think it'll drop sometime this week. But I go through some of these, and you don't even have to participate in layer 3, but there's like Oku trade where you can swap for wrapped Bitcoin on Bob, and you can use Uniswap v3 on Bob. I show you how to swap on here, and there's some liquidity
Well,
on
shit.
Euler. Yeah, supplying.
You know what? I was just thinking, dude, that's what we should do. I mean, if we don't end up partnering with that other channel,
Hmm.
we should just freaking put DCA on your channel. You know, you can have all your, because you have all your airdrop stuff. We'll just migrate all these videos we've done over there and just make that the DCA channel.
Well, I mean, yeah, we can figure out, but we definitely want to take
Break it
this and
out.
run with it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
just because it is a great niche, because DeFi, we're still so early in airdrops. I mean, even though the airdrop narrative isn't as strong, because you got so many people just hunting all kinds of shit, but it is good to at least participate in this stuff early and try and position yourself for an airdrop or certain rewards. And like
Well,
I say,
very,
even
very,
if
very few people are talking about airdrops and DeFi. I mean, there's a
Mhm.
very, very small, like, I mean, I can count on one hand how many decent DeFi channels there are out there.
yeah, yeah, and even if, let's say, Bob doesn't launch a token, other projects in the ecosystem definitely reward their users. Like Optimism has their Optimism grants that they give to ecosystem partners, and those partners, the swap platforms, dexes, and staking protocols, they'll incentivize users to use their platform. So, oh hey, we got this, 1,000 or 100,000 OP token grant that we're going to give 100,000 OP tokens to all of our users. So, why not just participating in as many things as you can, and you'll get rewarded eventually.
Yeah,
I've
no,
I found stuff that I
and
didn't even
that's the
know about.
well, and I mean, and there's so many airdrops that you can get, I mean, that you can be a part of, and each one of them has a different layer of difficulty and things like that. But there's those websites that we're always showing people to where and actually that's something that a link that we need to put on the DeFi platform that we're building is a link to one of those to where people can easily index different airdrops that they can do, because some of them are super easy and some of them are super hard, and if we can help people find those to earn free crypto like you did Plume, I mean it's
Mm.
why not.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And especially when the test nets, they're free and you don't have to invest, or deposit liquidity for
Yeah.
qualifying for an airdrop or whatever. It's just takes a little bit of time and brain power. And a lot of the test nets I cover, man, I fucking hold your hand and walk you through it, the whole video, technical issues. And um, I'm even helping people in the Discord, with testnet tokens, pointing them in the right direction. So it's yeah, and it's a lot, man. There's a lot of stuff
Well,
to navigate.
and we're here to help. I mean, I mean, I'm always open to to help people. If you all ever needed help, or me to explain, where I'm finding, like liquidity pools, or if you need Jeff to explain, how he's finding all these airdrops, or just reach
Mhm.
out to us. I mean, we're never going to ask for, any kind of access to your crypto, or for you to send us anything, nothing like that. It's just, I want people to be successful. I want people to make money. I mean, we're a community that, we need to look out for each other, because I honestly believe that we're in for some rough road ahead, when it comes to, kind of, the, at least the short term, with the
Mhm.
US, the US markets, and the, kind of US economy and stuff like that. Cause, we've, the US, I'll go on a little bit of a rabbit trail here. We've been borrowing $2 trillion a year to artificially inflate our economy for quite some time. Uh-oh, did we lose you, Jeff? Oh, I think we lost Jeff. But yeah, I mean, we've been borrowing $2 trillion a year to artificially inflate our economy, and we can't afford it anymore. So it's, we're going to have to swallow this painful pill, because we've been kicking the can down the road for too long, and the longer we kick it, the more painful it's going to be. And it's, I know it's very controversial right now, and people are feeling the pinch. But if we don't stop printing money, it's it's going to get a lot worse. So
Mhm.
it's, I know it sucks that crypto is dumping. I know that it sucks that the markets are doing what they're doing, and the prices of things are what they are. But it's, if we want the liquidity to come back, if we want the markets to pump, we're going to have to suck it up. So just,
Yeah.
in the meantime, earn, use airdrops to earn free money, use DeFi to earn free money, OPM other people's money, and
Mhm.
stack your bags. Because eventually, if you're able to hold through these rough waters, it's gonna pay off if you're in good solid projects like Ondo, like Plume, like Bitcoin, like a lot of these projects that we talk about. It's good, solid, you know, fully doxed teams that have good solid partnerships, that have good use cases like, RWAs and DeFi and AI and, things like that. Um,
Mhm.
so do you have any closing thoughts? I know we're about to
Yeah.
get cut off here. Do you have any closing thoughts, Jeff?
Black Ice said that he messaged you on or sent you a Discord request, but I didn't know. Are you on Discord like that?
I'm in Discord on the blockchain basement from when I was helping him
Okay.
out. I don't check it too often, but I will. Black Ice. I'll dip in there. But best way
X
to get
is
a
the
hold of
best.
me, yeah, best way to get a hold of me is on X.
Because sometimes those messages, if you're not actual friends with that person, it'll go to like a separate thing, and it won't pop up in your message feed. So, um,
Yeah, I almost
yeah,
never check Discord.
and and
So
even
yeah,
if we wick down to 69, I mean, eh, I would expect that or prepare for that. Just
my my
just a
brother
flash crash.
my brother has a one. Like basically, if it hits it, I think he said it's 74. He has a buy order for 1 Bitcoin.
74.
Yeah, if it hits 74, Taylor, my brother that's on the Sunday stream,
Yeah.
by the way, he's running for mayor of McKinney, Texas. So if you're in McKinney, Texas, vote for Taylor.
Oh,
Um,
Taylor.
Vote Taylor. Taylor for mayor. Um, but yeah, he has a 1 Bitcoin buy order in at 74K.
I like how Rob called that as the bottom for the bounce.
All right.
74 to 75.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, I think we'll
Oh,
yeah.
hold on. There's my brother.
Oh shit.
You're on the air with DCA.
Hot take. Hot take.
We're just wrapping up. I was telling everybody about your 74K 1 Bitcoin buy order you have in. He says he's ready to go. Yep. You had the crystal ball, man. We should have listened to you. You should have been on the channel. So yeah. I'll be done here in a few minutes. All right. Yeah. He's over at jiu-jitsu, a couple doors down.
Nice.
He's coming over so we can go to dinner. So sorry. Closing thoughts, Jeff.
Closing thoughts, man. Just DCA and DeFi. Simply put, just earn. AMMs, stick with that right now until we at least settle down a little bit, and then put a little bit into a concentrated pool, and just kind of let's see how the markets go, because there's still a lot of stuff with the tariffs and all this shit that's going on. Just play it safe. Play it safe.
I couldn't have said it better myself, brother. So I'll just end with what I'm doing. AMMs and lending, I'm just racking and stacking 24/7, 365. My concentrated liquidity pools are all out of range, and I'm leaving them there. And as soon as these markets, like all of the, the earnings that I've been building up, I got about $2,000 worth of arrow that I earned, the past, a week or two. And, I'm just letting it sit there, and I'm waiting for arrow to pump back up. And that 2,000 arrow will be worth about $4,000 if it goes back up to $2. So yeah, basically I'm just stacking with lending and AMMs. And once the market takes off again, I'm going to, start, in my concentrated liquidity pools, I'm going to start dumping all of the bags that I have sitting on the sidelines right now into concentrated liquidity pools, and just start rebalancing those on the way up, all the while taking profits and, building, bags again, USDC in case we dump again. But that's all you can do, and just rinse and repeat. Keep stacking, keep stacking, keep stacking.
Yes.
I'll end with that.
And shout out to everyone.
Yeah, we're ending with that. Oh, here's
Johnny
Taylor.
December,
Taylor from Air.
Papa Goo,
Taylor.
Deadwood.
Yeah.
What's up?
What up, brother? How's it going, brother?
Long time no see.
Yeah, long time no see. We got this sweaty man hugs from all my family and friends. They're all been rolling around with dudes all night. Little big spoon, big spoon, little spoon.
Chili Rainbow, Black Ice, DCA and Pray.
What's that?
All the homies.
Yeah, that's Mark Zuckerberg.
Rob.
Yeah, we appreciate all you guys showing up in the chat, on Mondays, and
much love,
giving us some good input and asking good questions. But
start
till
the week
next
off
time,
right.
Oh, absolutely. We'll see you next Monday. And if we end up getting this partnership, and maybe even if we don't, we might start doing at least one more show per week. Maybe on the weekends when there isn't a whole lot of content out there. But with that, thank you, Jeff. Thank you all.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Veteran Crypto out.
Right.